My name is Adam Wemple, owner and operator of Ahp Hardscaping Inc. Along with a great team of hard workers, visualizing and capitalizing on homeowners' ideas is what we do. I have experience of over 16 years, which allows us to improvise all aspects of residential and commercial projects. From blueprint to finished product, we are here to serve your dream to become a reality. Now take a look at one of our projects that we just had our hands in from start to finish.
So I'll give you a little back history of this whole project here. This job is located in upstate New York, Saratoga. It started out with just this bottom wall, basically. So when I come out to give the guy a price, all he wanted done was this. So we needed to cover about a 10 or 11 foot difference. So we need some stairs. So from there I talked to Dan and said, hey, what about a 2-tier? And at that time, this wall was up. We've moved a lot of material here multiple times. I'm pretty flexible with people. You know, we don't always have the vision that the homeowner always wants. So you got to be a little tolerant of that. As we got into this, we did the stairs up top. There's a hot tub area. We set all that. There's a raised area. There's stairs. And then it just exploded to all the pavers, to the pool deck. We did the pool. Everything here has been done by us. That was hardscape. Walls and pavers, and even the concrete, that was all done in-house by us. This project took about three summers, basically, only because the back pool house wasn't built at the time, so we could only go so far, and then it was just steps. But something like this, a job like this, is very, very easy for us. You know, we're easy to work with. I have a 8-man team, I guess you'd call it, and we all kind of have the same vision, and it's pretty easy, you know. And the nice thing about a guy like Dan is he kind of already has a vision and he wants to be a part of it, you know. In one of the pictures out back, you'll see where there were shovels and some blue lines exposed. That's him. He just kind of does his own stuff, you know. I like working with homeowners that like to finish a lot of their own stuff. So this project here, this one is a decent size. This one's a pretty big job. We've done ones that are comparable, but we're about done here. I think all we have left to do now, we installed a basketball hoop last week, and now he wants me to put up a batting cage. So also AHP, not only do we just do hardscaping and stuff, we also teach people not to double dribble, and we can even install basketball hoops. That's right. What we got over here is a raised fire pit area. He wanted, so most of your fire pits come like 52-inch outside diameter. You know, they're kind of a smaller fire pit. They can be natural gas or they can be wood. He's the kind of guy that wants to actually have a fire, burn some, you know, wood, we'll just say. So this one we made a 5-foot inside diameter. This is all made out of Versalock mosaic. It's not a fire brick, but they work fine. We had some time in it. It's recessed down in 2 feet into the patio itself with some drainage stone beneath it. And then we just raise an area, 2 columns. There's lights that are tied in all this, and just makes a really nice sitting area. This pool deck here, this is all Teco Block Blue 60 with some Onyx Harris. This is Champlain Gray pavers. These were, I want to say they were Cambridge bullnose edgers. It's all pool coping with a rat slab underneath it. Everything here was done by us. All of the rocks were placed, all of the landscape rocks. We didn't do the fence. That's about all we didn't do. The stairs, the raised area, everything that was here. This is what we really like to do. This is our passion. This is our job. So I'm just trying to kind of show people that, like, and again, we can do things just as simple as just a 100 square foot sidewalk. You know, this job here totaled, I think, I don't know, a couple thousand square foot of pavers and maybe 2,800 square foot of wall block, 3,000 square foot of wall block, which is kind of large for a residential project. But even out back, we've got some concrete work that we've done with some drainage. We moved some catch basins and stuff like that. So we kind of really like your one-stop shop for everything. Even something as simple as a diving board. We installed most of the stuff here. We installed all of the hardware underneath the pavers when we poured the concrete rat slab for all this stuff. And it's just an in-house thing. We're versatile in so many different ways, whether it be welding or, you know, we've done tree work, excavation. It all ties together when you get to a certain project. And I'm glad that I have the guys that can pull it all together and get everything done. What we got here, these are a set of Versalock steps and Versalock caps that we use for treads. There's a couple different varieties of steps. I mean, there's a lot, but here we kind of kept it to a split face Versalock tumbled wall block, and then I can show you another version here in a minute. But these ones here, we just radius them out. These ones are straight across. Pretty standard for what we do. Again, for stairs, you can do a lot of different varieties, but we're gonna just stick with these ones for now. You got a straight set, a round set, you can do angled, but these were Versalock tumbled with a 14-inch tread. Here's just another version of a step that we use. These were Teco Block Roca steps. This is a one-piece precast step, obviously different than the Versalock steps. These are basically designed to go straight. We can obviously cut them and radius them and stuff, but this is just another version of just a little bit of variety, just to break a job up every now and again. Sometimes if you do too much block work, it looks like too much like a palace kind of deal. It's nice to kind of soften them, and these are pretty nice to work with. They weigh about 400 pounds a piece. I made a clamp to set them, and then they're nice. They're fairly inexpensive, and they work very well. So another thing that we offer here that we don't do in-house, but we can easily find a subcontractor to work with us on, is composite decking or decking, pergolas, you know, wooden steps and stuff like that. It's not really our forte, but on a project where it needs to be done and you can't find somebody, just reach out to us and we can easily have somebody come out and give you a price. Here is just a better view of the Trex deck that we had a contractor install for us. What we did is, like I said, we had prepped everything. We set the sauna tubes. They came in after the piers were in. They assembled the deck and everything else. We tied our hardscaping to it. Just another way that we can get two different things done with another contractor and just keep the project moving. One thing I want to touch on is columns. So whenever you're building a column and you're coming into a corner, this is kind of like a really scary place for contractors, because this was all sand setting bed. So I ended up setting, I think I buried 2 or 3 courses below grade on some solid crusher run footing, buried it, and this thing has geogrid literally tied into this every other row to lock this corner, and then there is literally a ton of clean stone behind this column. This thing's been here over 3 years, which is fine. It hasn't moved at all, which is perfect, because a lot of times what they want to do with this wall not being locked together, it's basically locked on a column, so things have a tendency to kind of fade out. Whenever you're doing this stuff, you have to overbuild the front to shore the front of it up. With that, this was another version, or another example of our steps. These were those precast rocker steps. We cut them in half, and then we ran them up. I'm going to talk about a couple things in this project. Right here, if you can see what I'm standing on, there's a better version on the other side of the house. I'll try to get you a picture. This is turf stone. So when I was younger, I worked for a company. We installed thousands of square feet of this stuff down in like Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania and stuff. What this is designed to do is go underneath grass, and it can be filled with pea stone or topsoil so you can drive down it. It doesn't leave ruts in the yard, you know, and it's meant a lot of times in the South and even all over the country, they're in a lot of fire lanes and stuff like that, where like there's like pavilions, gazebos, public outings where people have to, where like fire trucks have to get in. You probably don't even notice it, but this stuff is under there. This is a perfect example of, he said, how can I get down my driveway and not make ruts in my backyard? And I said, well, I would put down some turf stone. He's like, what is that? I said, well, let me just do it and then you'll see. So we ended up doing it on both sides of the house. So this worked out perfect, because you don't even know it's here once it grows in. As this wall went up, this whole thing changed about 3 times. So this stayed the same, this stayed the same. The pavers up top stayed the same. Where it started changing was, this whole job was one level when we first started. It was this paver grade right here, okay? And this is what I mean. This is where Adam has acquired so much patience in his life, because you have to. These pavers were the same grade. So this wasn't even here. Like, this wall was here, but that wasn't. So this was all pavers. Then our great buddy Dan says, hey, I'd like to get 2 sunken areas. So you just manned up with a shovel and a wheelbarrow. We dug these down 2 feet, put in a lower sunken area with drains that tied into the existing footing drains for a setting area here. We put in a half rounded step right here. Columns, obviously. And then even right here, we put in a double-sided sitting wall, and then we put in a lower paver area, and we set the hot tub in there. This patio alone changed probably 3 times. And it was one of those things where, you know, any contractor will tell you that sometimes it can be a pain in the butt, but it's actually been a pleasure to work here because Dan's a pretty cool guy. And it's not about the money. He trusts us a lot of times. Like, he didn't have a vision of the stairs. I did. I said, let me test my abilities. Let me test my guys' abilities. Let me just do what I know we can do. And he kind of let us. And sometimes we had to change some things and compromise, but this is what we ended up with. And I'm happy with it. He's very happy with it. A lot of times we have to stick to a certain, set of plans and stuff, but sometimes when we can kind of get some free range and run, this is what we do for a living. So, and we like our job. So sometimes we like to test ourselves. Another example of what we did for Dan, just because we were here, we helped install irrigation lines and sprinkler heads and stuff. So it's not really, we're not sprinkler guys by any means, but we are able to do a lot of different things. So while we were here and we had this whole site excavated, we ran a variety of sprinkler lines all the way up behind the walls and everything, and you can tie them in at a later date. A couple of things that we don't do in-house at AHP, I'm going to share with you now. One of them is cultured stone. I have a couple different vendors and stuff that we subcontract that we work with. I personally can do this, but we just don't have the time. So what we try to do is we try to better accommodate a homeowner or a project by reaching out and finding some good subcontractors. I have a pretty tight-knit list of what we do. So culture stone on this project was here, all over here, some on the back side of the building. There's an outdoor kitchen that we have to build over here yet. That'll be all finished in cultured stone, and we even did inside the house a little bit. So this is just something that you can call, and we can easily get you guys a price on. Probably the last thing that we don't do in-house that we work with other contractors for would be landscaping. So whether it's, planting some arborvitaes, some plants, or full-on hydroseed, if it's part of our project, we can easily find somebody to accommodate all your needs. Well, here's another version of this wall here. Got extended 3 times. In the beginning it only came to here, then it went around the corner, and then it went all the way up. This is an example of that turf stone I was telling you about earlier. So you can see it now because we've been using it so much. So it's almost like a honeycomb style paver. You can lay it on dirt. We laid this stuff on crusher run because we had concrete trucks and all kinds of stuff in it. So what will happen is, and the reason it's on an angle is because the property line's right here, so we can only go so far. And we had to keep the natural grade. In another week or two with the hydroseed, this will be fully covered with grass. You'll never even know it's here. And as you drive down into here, it'll be hard as a rock. No ruts, no getting stuck, nothing. So it's a nice application.
We are at 2348 State Highway 38 in Johnstown, New York, and we are here with Mr. Adam Wimpel at your location. So what do you got for us today?
What I have is, so I own Ahp Hardscaping Inc. I've been in business since 2005 on my own. I've been doing brick paver since I was 18 years old, 1997. So I got some experience. One of the biggest problems that I've faced over the years is I got a pretty solid 8-man crew. It's taken me a long time to get there, and with just the way it is today, it's hard to find quality guys. It's hard to find management type. So what I basically did was I leased a place and I provided outdoor sales. So basically what this place is going to be is I have brick paver displays all around the corner, all down the side, and I'll walk you through this in a second. What I'm going to do here is, it's basically going to be like my home base. I don't know if it'll transition into like a storefront. I'm going to kind of let it do its thing. I got a greenhouse. I have some opportunities in the fall time this year. I was thinking about doing like a fall themed thing, apples, pumpkins, some hay rides and stuff like that. Christmas time, I was thinking about getting into some Christmas trees and wreaths and maybe starting to let it kind of get going. This fall, I was contemplating on doing like a craft fair here, maybe bringing in like a truck and car show, just to bring some attention, things that I've always liked to do. This year, we added a concrete and a landscape, basically part of what we do. So we're basically like a one-stop shop. Brick pavers and retaining walls, we've got those down. We do excavation, so I'll just kind of walk you through part of this. We'll go for a walk down here. This is something, this is just a basic circle kit with an inlay. It's something that is, for us, it's relatively inexpensive, and it gives us the ability to not just lay like just normal pavers every day. It's like pavers obviously do cost. They can be costly. but you can make them look a lot better without spending a whole ton of money. So what is easier for me is I can go to a house and give an estimate. It's a lot easier if after that homeowner or that construction company can come out, pick what paver they want, because we do residential and commercial, right on. So a lot of times a print may show one thing, but I can have a general contractor, project manager come out and see that this style may work better than this style. Homeowners can come out and say, can I get this in a gray? Right there it is. Can I do a black border? Right there that is. So for me, the visualization of all this stuff is, I know it's going to save me time, so much time in the long run. So
it's pretty unique that you're able to pick and choose right there on the spot, all in one location.
Yep. So basically the way it's going to work too is like, I got a bunch of land out back and to the side. I'm going to keep developing it. I mean, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but if I do what I want to do, I'd have a humongous area that has like pergolas, raised areas, sunken areas. So basically any other facility, like a landscape depot or like a place that sells landscape or hardscape supplies, they are selling you the product, okay? I'm not here to sell. There's Belgard, Teco Block, Cambridge, Unilock, and D'Agostino pavers are here. I'm going to spread the wealth. That's just what I do. I'm just going to be honest, right? I'm just going to sell the pavers, whatever. I'm here to sell the job. You know, any place that you go, they want to sell you the flowers, they want to sell you the rocks, they want to sell you the pavers. That's great. I just want to sell the job. I want to just sell you, I want you to be able to come out, stand here and say, how much does $500 to $10,000 get me? And I can show you. You know, I can show you the area. Sometimes people look at me and they're like, ouch. And other times they're like, wow, that's really not that bad. I thought it would be more. How much is it to do this? And you can talk about it right there. And when you can see it, it's so much better. Just something as simple as up here right in front of the doorway. I just cut in these 3 circles. This is stuff that we do. We do this stuff all the time. So for us, I like to just kind of showcase, you know, on my Facebook page is Ahp Hardscaping. On my Facebook page, my profile picture is a retaining wall that we did a couple of years ago. It's not the biggest one we've done, but it's by far not the smallest. It's like 300 feet long, 18 feet tall. That's intimidating. When a homeowner goes to that page, a lot of times they sit there and think, my job is too small for you. That's not the case at all. So with doing this, I had a really hard time because I wanted to do stars and a compass and all this other stuff. That's intimidating. So I wanted to keep it simple, a bunch of varieties, break it up so people can see exactly what we do, you know, and just kind of get a feel. We put a 14-foot sitting wall in. I got just a small fire pit I got to finish just so people can sit there, see what it feels like to be home, and just kind of, and then we just go from there.